Yes, sir.
Okay, so good evening to everyone. So today I would like to give a brief idea about 3D printing. So the main uh, content of this 3D printing webinar is like introduction. You will see in introduction history of 3D printing, followed by advantages and disadvantages, applications. Okay, so how the process chain involved in 3D printing and what are the different 3D printing techniques according to ASTM standard. Okay, and what is the future of 3D printing and what are the some issues or barriers or you can say obstacles of 3D printing like which are stopping not moving forward and like what is the concept of reverse engineering will be used in 3D printing. So these are the contents I'm going to cover in this webinar. Okay, so before going to this thing, so let me tell you. See, this 3D printing word is the like it is not a new word. Okay, it is already old one, but people are not aware about this term. Okay, so I'll tell you how this term came into picture or came into existence. Okay, so we all know that like a prototype is an approximation of a product, or you can say its components in some form for a definite use or purpose in its implementation, right? So that is what the meaning of prototype. So like. See this prototype. Why I given the definition, you will like you will understand later on. Okay, in coming slides. So like before going to this introduction part, let me tell you. We all know manufacturing is the process of converting raw material into finished product by value addition, right? So there are some certain categories or classification you can say in manufacturing. Okay, so this classification is like subtractive manufacturing, additive manufacturing, formative manufacturing, like based on material addition, based on material removal. So this is what the classification they have categorized. Okay, so when you apply some certain loads or forces on a component to get shape and size of the component or to get required dimension, we'll go for a formative manufacturing process. So we will not remove any material or we will not add the material in case of formative manufacturing. But whereas if you take a subtractive manufacturing, the material removal will takes place. Okay, whatever the all the machining operations or metal cutting operations will comes under your subtractive manufacturing process. You all know like if you take examples, milling, turning, drilling. Okay, so grinding also will comes under your subtractive manufacturing process. When you take formative fabrication process, all the metal forming operations will comes under this category. Even in some cases powder metallurgy you can tell, sheet metal operation you can tell, like whatever you take metal forming operations called rolling, drawing, bending. Okay, extrusion, forging. So such kind of operations will come under this category. So now what do you mean by additive manufacturing? So here what we are doing, from the diagram you can understand, according to our requirement we are adding the material in layer by layer fashion. So some of the examples of additive manufacturing as given in this slide. Okay, so from the slide you can understand how subtractive manufacturing is there, how formative manufacturing is there, similarly additive is there, right? So now if you come to introduction part of this additive manufacturing, it is basically it is the process of joining materials layer by layer fashion by utilizing your 3D CAD data, or you can say 3D CAD model. Okay, so it basically what now simplifies producing 3D objects by arranging the number of layers in 2D fashion. Okay, 2D layers will be arranged to get your 3D object. Okay, so with predefined thickness or predefined layer height, or you can say step size kind of thing, right? So now see, the term additive manufacturing came into picture to describe a process for rapidly creating a system or part before final release or commercialization. Okay, so this particular term came into picture because of complexity and customization of the product or component or object. Okay, where it is not possible by any conventional manufacturing process, or you can say NCCNC methods. Okay, so I'll tell you in case of advantages what do you mean by complexity and customization, right? So it has synonyms like rapid prototyping, 3D printing, digital manufacturing, you can say layered manufacturing. Okay, so even people are calling it as free-form fabrication. Okay, okay. So now see, this 3D printing is like new, like it is not a new word I told you, right? So like people are using this technology from 1960s, 70s like that. Okay, so like in olden days, people used to call it as rapid prototyping. Okay, so like later on they converted into additive manufacturing. Why? Because yeah, we can say like this is also one kind of manufacturing process. Okay, we are not removing material, or you can, like we are not applying forces. Why can't we call it as additive manufacturing? So later on, like in technical way, in specified manner, they call it as additive manufacturing. Later on, like what now? They are producing the objects in 3 dimension. So that is why now people are calling it as in a fashion word called 3D printing. Okay, so in X, Y, Z, you are getting like you are printing the component, right? So what I mean to tell you is, see this 3D printing, we have certain examples. Okay, like as I said, like it is not a new word. You take construction of wall. Okay, so what me like in construction of wall, what we are doing, like kind of like we are, it is also one kind of layer by layer fashion method, right? So what we are doing, we are arranging like brick. Okay, on top of it we are adding brick, and on top of it what we are adding, we are adding cement material, or you can say whatever the concrete material we are adding. Okay, so which is combination of your cement, water, and what no sand and all, right? So again what we are doing, so adding of second brick will be takes place, and on top of it we are again adding this cement material, right? So this is what we are doing, like with free defined thickness we are doing it, right? So that is what, see the layer height will comes under here, the what no height of the brick. Okay, so in which direction you are placing the brick, that also matter. Okay, so this is how we are creating your 3D object. Okay, length x, y, z. Okay, so if you take a length is x, well, like your y is your width of the brick and all, or you can say breadth. Okay, so in z direction you are producing what like this what now wall kind of thing, right? So that is what your height of the wall represents. So that is also best example. That means so construction of your wall, okay, by using bricks and your what no cement material. So in like in the similar way, construction of road, what we are doing, like by adding the that black colored material. So like we are applying load onto that, or you can say, so with the help of the roller we are doing that roller operation, and again we are adding second layer material, right? So that is how we are constructing the what no road. Okay, so it is also one of the best example for your 3D printing process. So that means like the layer of what no or height of that particular cold material, or you can say black colored material. So every time we'll add uniformly. So that is how we are constructing road and all. So okay, so we are what we are getting at the end, height of the road we are getting, right? So that means that is also one of the best example for your 3D printing, or you can say additive manufacturing. So simply wherever you go, if you like perform layer by layer fashion, okay, we can say that it is the best example for 3D printing. Okay, so here you can understand olden days, like these are the rocks. Okay, so rocks, they formed by layer fashion only. Okay, so you take temple or what they like here you can understand. So this was constructed layer by layer fashion only, right? So these are the few examples which are related to your 3D printing. One is construction of wall you take, and the second one is road construction. Okay, and the third one like building a temple. And you see this is whatever what now fourth one, that is your olden days. This is what your rock formation. Okay, so now see this is what the history of 3D printing. So you just understand, first computer came into existence is in the year of 1946. Okay, later on like NC tool came into picture 1952, followed by you take a rapid prototyping system or 3D printing, or you can say additive manufacturing. In the year of 1985 or 1988 it came into existence. Okay, so first like this was found by Charles Hull or Chuck Hull. Okay, same name, like the name is same. Okay, so the person who has found this first commercial rapid prototyping system in like USA. Okay, that is in 3D systems. Okay, so you can see, you can observe from the diagram like 1988 SLA. Okay, stereolithography apparatus printer they have found. Okay, in like by Charles Hull or Chuck Hull. Okay, so from this you can understand SLA is one kind of liquid based technology, that is wet photopolymerization. Those things we will discuss in coming slides, okay, in case of classification, right? So my dear friends, if you see what is the growth of 3D printing, okay, from the diagram you can understand in 2011 very few people used this 3D printing. Okay, later on how the slope of this curve, okay, like you can say how this line, straight line, right? So as the time passes or as the year increases, like you can say from 2013, 15, 17, 8, like 18, 19, now 20. Okay, so like how this products and services of 3D printing increases, or you can say market opportunities are increases. So you like gradually they have it is increasing, right? So we can see in next several years double digit growth. Okay, now so in 2007 very few people were used this personal desktop 3D printers. Okay, later on in 2010 very the number got increased. Okay, now people are using everywhere. Okay, so not only in industry or not only in labs, now people are using this 3D printing in every application or in every sector. Okay, now like nowadays in 3D this 3D printing using in home home itself, for home applications also. So this is what see, Fowler is the person who has given this report. Okay, so that is why we call it as a Fowler's report. Okay, so this is how the growth of 3D printing. Now, if you take, this is what our timeline, layout, fast, present, potential. See, I'll correlate one term. If you take rapid prototyping, additive manufacturing, 3D printing, how this word is there. Similarly, okay, if you take in case of applications, okay, as I said, like in 1988, this rapid prototyping word or mission or what now, this 3D printing process came into picture, right? So later on, they have used for rapid casting, rapid tooling. Okay, so followed by AM for automotive. Okay, that means additive manufacturing for automobile application. Okay, later on in aerospace also they have used, but for only polymer parts they have used. Okay, later on in aerospace also they have they have gone for metal parts also. Okay, so yeah, in 2005 they have used polymers in medical application. Okay, later on they have increased and they have gone for medical implants in metals also. Okay, so this is what your timeline. Okay, so now in 2017, recently they have gone for construction of houses and all. Okay, by using 3D printing. Those things we'll see in coming slides, that is in application part. Okay, so biomedical implants. Okay, similarly full body organs now they are printing. Okay, so this is what the timeline. I'll show you. See, this 3D printing also, first one like rapid prototyping, right? So this like they have used for functional products. See, sorry, they have used for showcase models or what no prototype purpose. Later on they have increased for functional purpose. Okay, so that too what no in some applications, right? So later on, like they are printing full body organs also, like that is in 2020 or 2025, like they are going for this 3D bio printing and all. Okay, they are producing full body organs. I'll show you in applications, you will understand with images and all, right? So this is what the occurrence of 3D printing. Okay, each and every sector, this is what the existence of 3D printing. You take medical, what is the percentage? You take aerospace, okay, motor vehicles. Okay, so like very few people are using this 3D printing in academic institutions, but now it increased like anything. Okay, so this is what given by Hollar's associates. Okay, so this is what the report they have given. So you understand, this is for understand purpose. Okay, next one like Gartner's curve, or you can say hype curve. Okay, or you can say hype cycle. So it basically describes about as the time passes, what is our expectations, where we are meeting. Okay, this is what the indication of this diagram. So this as a Gartner cycle or Gartner curve will be applicable in every sector Okay, so in 2013, this person has given for 3D printing. So what he has done, like see, he did, like he done forecasting, and like he told that I like in starting we'll use it for rapid tooling. Later on they will, like we will use it for what now consumer 3D printing, and then we'll go for bio printing and all. That is what the thing he has told. Okay, so this curve basically describes about like see what now marketing kind of thing. So if you not only see this curve not only like used in 3D printing, you like this will be useful in what now whatever the product you launching in marketing and all. See if for example you what now prepared a component or a product, okay, you just want to introduce in market and all. So this cycle will helps you in such cases. Okay, so it will tell that like where is our lagging, or like where can we introduce this product and which place. Okay, so what is the product like productivity we are going to uptime. So this is what deals with. Okay, so what I mean to tell you is like it includes 5 stages: technology trigger, peak of inflated expectation, trough of disillusionment, slope of enlightenment, plateau of productivity. So what happens for a new product? So the demand will be high in up to certain time. Okay, later on it will get decreases. Okay, so at certain point it will become zero, and normally like see again, so like it will go to what no constant position and all. So if you take innovation trigger, this is what your thing. Okay, fleek of what no fleek of inflated expectation, this is what your what no saturated point, or you can say highest peak point. Okay, so trough of disillusionment. So here you can say flaws, or you can say error or mistakes or failures will lead to some disappointment. That means you're going to get zero what no profit in such cases. Okay, so later on it will go for like slope of enlightenment. Again brightness of this from my product, you can say marketing of this product will increases, and it will maintain plateau of productivity. Okay, so that means it basically deals with the like as time passes, what is our expectations and where we are meeting these requirements. So this is what the importance of this Gartner cycle or Gartner curve. Okay, so what I mean to tell you is it basically help you in separate hype from the real drivers of technology, and reduce the risk of your technology investment decisions, and compare your understanding of a technology's business value with the objectivity of experienced IT analysis. Okay, so this is what the meaning of this. And if you take next one, advantages and disadvantages of additive manufacturing or 3D printing. See, my dear friends, there are some certain advantages. You take like one is like it is tool and fixerless, and the second one is short process chain. Okay, the third one is a direct automation from CAD model, and like next one is less material waste. Okay, the like if you take some the very important advantages called the complexity mass customization. So if you take these advantages, see the things which I have not highlighted, like they are not that much important. You are all, like you are all know, and it is a technical word, you can understand, right? So what do you mean by this complexity? Why it came into picture? See, like what is the need of this complexity? If you want to create such kind of objects or components, so this 3D printing is the one of the best method. Okay, so such kind of structures you cannot print by any conventional method, or you can say NC CNC method. Okay, this is how 3D printing is useful in printing or fabricating such kind of such kind of objects. Okay, so this is what our complexity. If you take mass customization, what do you mean by mass customization? So the word customization is like, see, according to your requirement, you can print the component, you can fabricate the component, my dear friends. So what I mean to tell you is, I will give an example. See, for example, your foot size is 7.5 or 7.8 inches and all. So I'm just giving an example. Okay, so if you want to see, if you want to buy a what no your shoe or sandal kind of thing, So will you get exact 7.8 inches kind of thing? No, right? So you may get 7 or 8 size, right? So in such cases, you need to compromise with size, right? So quality it like secondary, okay, but the primary thing or most important thing is your size, right? So like they have fabricated what no by using conventional method, and they have gone for 8 size, 7 size and all, right? So if your leg size is 7.8, then you need to go with 8 only. If it is 7.2, you need to go with 7. There you need to what now compromise with size. What you are doing? So it might become loose, it might become tight. Okay. So exactly you may not get it, right? But using 3D printing, you will get exact one what you want. Not only this shoe example, you take what now from the diagram you can understand they have gone for mass production, okay, and they have what now fabricated or you can say they have what now manufactured different types of parts, right? So which are in color nature. So this is how the like exact meaning of your what now mass customization. Okay, so that means according to your requirement, you can produce the component or object. So that is what the best example, and this is whatever complexity in case of advantages. So now in case of disadvantages, so we have see in some cases you may get low accuracy. Okay, it might get cost also. Okay, so you don't bother about cost when you need a complex object, okay, which is not possible with any other manufacturing method. Okay, so that is why I have introduced in disadvantages. Okay, so sometimes material usage also will be constrained, or you can say restrained. Okay, restriction will be there. Okay. You may get anisotropic parts also. Okay, what do you mean by anisotropy? I will tell you. See, this 3D printing does not require any mold as a precursor to manufacture. Okay, you can understand from the diagram, and multiple parts can be produced in one cycle. Okay, on single build platform, whatever the objects you give as input, and you are going to get output like this. Okay. And you take anisotropy. What I want to tell you is, see, if you take isotropy, so the material property like Young's modulus will be what no same in each and every direction at a particular point, right? So due to this 3D printing object, you may not get isotropy of the part. Okay, you will get anisotropy. So because of see this layer by layer fashion, so this print what no build direction will be in z direction. Okay, so because of this bonding or attachment of layers, material properties will change or will get vary. So due to this, you will get anisotropy of the part. Okay, so this is what the disadvantage of your what now 3D printing or additive manufacturing. Now, what are the different applications of 3D printing? So these are the applications. It will be used in prototyping, tooling, architectural, medical, dental, and even in direct part production like aerospace, automotive. Okay, for home appliances. Okay, marketing, advertising, fashion, and high performance product. Okay, so even in case of jewelry and all, right? So I'll show you in case of prototyping for showcase purpose or for presentation models we will use it. Okay, and even we will use it for fit form function models. So you can see from the diagram, so these are the parts which are printed by 3D printing, and we can use it for fit form function. Okay, fit form function, you can understand the what now meaning of word. Okay, so nothing is there in that. From the diagram you can clearly understand that what do you mean by form fit function. Okay, fit form function. So this is what the thing. And the next one, this is what your tooling application. Okay, so 3D printing is using in tooling application. Okay, so for example, you take a injection modeling, blow modeling and all. So in such cases, if you want to like use some certain patterns kind of thing, if you want to use some tools and all, so we will use like we will print those components or objects. Okay, like by using like 3D printing process, and then we'll go for what now your uh, injection modeling or you can say blow modeling kind of thing. Okay, so like see this is what the basic application of tooling. Okay, so in 3D printing, so like see from the slide you can understand he has 3D printed automotive door handle and 3D printed conformal cooling channels. Okay, so by using some powder based technology that is called directed metal laser centering, we'll see in coming slides. Okay, so you know, like what is the purpose of conformal cooling channels type, right? The basic use of conformal cooling channel is what not to provide or what not to to give or to input the you can say like to provide the uniform cooling rate in a particular process for your blow molding or what no injection molding parts and all. So this is what the basic use of conformal cooling channel. Conformal cooling channels are used for your what no, it is like it acts like a passageway and it provides uniform cooling rate in what no object for a given blow molding or you can say injection molding process. Okay, so this is what the thing. Okay, even in case of aerospace we can use it. Okay, see my dear friends, this is what our topology optimization. Okay, so this 3D printing process will be used in let's see major advantage, like you can use it in topology optimization concept. Why? Because if you want to print a component, see, if you want to reduce strength to weight ratio, what you need to do is you need to go with this topology optimization concept. Okay, see, these are the different structures they have designed, okay, and they have printed for a given aerospace application. Okay, so what he has done, see, for example, I'm going to give a, see, let us say one component which you have produced by a conventional method, like which is having a weight called 1 kg. I'm just giving an example. Okay, so with the help of 3D printing, okay, and same concept, if you use these lattice structures and all, so what happens? You might reduce to half kg or 400 grams. Okay, but see, the thing is you may get high strength with what no 2 kg material can 1 kg material or you can say 1 kg weight, but very less what no change in strength will be there by using your lattice structures concept. Okay, that means if you design like this, okay, if you change the structures like this, so for example, without lattice structures I have produced one component. Okay, the design is like you take some solid component, let us say you are getting 170 MPa. Okay, so with the help of these structures, okay, when you use this topology optimization concept, then you are getting, let us say, 150 MPa, but drastically the way change in weight will be there. That means what now half of the weight will get reduced in case of your lattice structure concept. Okay, so what I mean to tell you is, when you use such kind of structures, very less change in strength will be there, but what now weight will get reduced more. That means strength to weight ratio will get increased or will enhances. Okay, so this is what I want to tell you. Okay, so by using topology optimization, or you can say by using some certain structures, okay, you take different types of lattice structures and you are going to achieve strength to weight ratio will be higher, will be more. Okay, so these are the few examples related to automotive applications. Okay, so this is what the different structures, instead of producing a full solid model or 80% solid model, they are going for 40% infill density, or I can say 60 percentage of material filling. Okay, so by using such kind of structures, they are improving strength to weight ratio. Okay, so these are the few examples they have mentioned here. In case of hot and jewelry also, like see, one of the company in Mumbai, like Imaginarium, they are working on art and jewelry kind of thing. Okay, so they are producing ornaments, okay, necklaces or what not, chains and all. They are producing by using 3D printing process. Okay, so now what not, see, 3D printing is using everywhere, my dear friends. Okay, in food printing also, you take burgers, pizzas. Okay, so you take what now, bread and jam. So what we are doing, take one slice of bread, we are adding jam to that, again we are adding one more layer to that, and we are eating, right? So like I can tell you, it is an example for your 3D printing process. Okay, so this is how the diagram looks like. You can understand from the diagrams. So see, they are like printing the food also by using 3D printing concept. So this is what the thing, right? So now, my dear friends, in construction also people are using this 3D printing. Okay, so world's first 3D printed apartment building was constructed in 2017 or 18 kind of thing. Okay, in 24 hours. That means less than 1 hour they have done. And what now? They showed that 3D printing is what now is used for construction purpose also. I'll show you one video. Okay, so you can understand how this 3D printing of a house was done. Okay, so yes, please watch this video. You can understand. Okay, I'll show you what is there in the video and all.
So the audio is not audible. Hello, sir.
Yes,
Sir, it's not
voice is
audible.
no
Ah,
voice is not there for this video. You just understand how the process.
okay.
Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
see, this is how they have what now constructed 3D printed house. Okay, so now if you take next application, so this is what our fashion and high performance product according to our size and requirement you can produce like what now products by using 3D printing. Okay, so even people are using this 3D printing in education also, like see what now in 2017 China introduced for kids okay, in schools and all like usage of this 3D printed like this usage of this 3D printing. Okay, so not only for showcase purpose, not only for prototype purpose, they are making it use it for what now functional purpose. Okay, so like people are building 3D printed what now 3D printers also. Okay, so in medical like see, one of the most important application of 3D printing is medical, my dear friends. Okay, so such a complex parts we can produce by using this 3D printing. Okay, so here in case of medical, see the model which is not possible, like see if you want to print this what no complex objects and all, if it is not possible with 3D modeling, so we'll go for reverse engineering concept, that is what scanning of the particular object or what no organ kind of thing. Okay, so this particular 3D printing is used in what no medical applications also. If you take in medical, we can go for a prosthetic design. Okay, you can go for implanting purpose, surgical guides or surgical models and all. Okay, so this is what the basic use in use of 3D printing in medical application. See, my dear friends, one person got an accident and he lost some of the portion of this cranium. So what he has done, he has done what no like he has 3D printed by using plastic technology, that whatever the what non-injured portion and where the implant is required, using 3D printing metallic part was what now fabricated and they have inserted here, right? See here people are using compatible materials only. Okay, so after all checking conditions and all, so they will go for this implanting purpose. Okay, how the blood circulation will be there and what are all the conditions are required. Okay, so if it is now so will be there. Okay, so like blood vessels will be there, everything will be there, right? That smooth or you can say soft tissue material will be there. So by checking all those conditions, they will go for implanting purpose. Okay, so from the diagram you can understand he has done, he had 3D he has 3D printed this lower jaw part. Okay, so in mandible construction and all. Okay, and if you take some other parts, they are going for heart and liver or what now different components of your human body and all. Okay, such kind of things they are they're they're doing 3D printing. Okay, so with the help of this 3D printing, they are making such kind of complex organs which is not possible by conventional method. Okay, now this is what the most important part of your webinar. Okay, this is what deals with software part. Okay, so that means process chain. So what do you mean by this process chain? I will show you. So if I am correct, like see, there are some certain stages of 3D printing, right from CAD modeling to given application process. Okay, so what I mean to tell you is first and foremost part of this process chain is like step one is CAD modeling or conceptualization, followed by conversion of design file to STL conversion. That means STL file conversion will be there. Okay, so that means STL means standard tessellation language, or you can say standard triangulation language file. Okay, so the third one is transfer that file to AM machine. Okay, so if at all if you have any errors, you go for STL correction. Okay, and then we'll transfer that particular file into slicing operation, or you can say slicing software. Okay, so once it is done, we'll go for machine setup and start printing the component. Okay, once the printing is over, we'll remove that particular part from the build plate and then we'll go for post processing if needed, and then we'll go use it for given application, right? So I'll tell you how this process chain is there, right? So now if you take see, what I mean to tell you is first and foremost step in additive manufacturing is what 3D CAD modeling. Okay, so by using any 3D CAD modeling software, you design a 3D model. Okay, so you take CATIA, Pro E. Okay, so Autodesk software. Okay, so you particular use any 3D modeling software, design a component. Okay, and then what you need to do is in that software only you need to convert that file into STL file. Okay, so the STL looks like this. Okay, so whatever the surface is there, see this particular surface, external closure surface will be what no displayed in the form of triangles. Okay, so now it looks like this, my dear friends. Okay, so STL file looks like this. So basically while doing conversion of STL, three parameters will be there. The first one is chord height, and the second one is angle control, and the third one is step size, my dear friends. Okay, so in case of chord height, so what happens, the difference between, or you can say maximum distance between your CAD model part and STL model part. Okay, so from the diagram you can understand here this triangle is there, right? So what happens if you take this straight line and this curved portion, so the distance between these two, you will get your chord height. Okay, so what happens with the help of this chord height and all, if it is 0, in such cases the number of triangles will be more, and no error will be there, or you can say accuracy of the file, or you can say component will be high. Okay, so now what do you mean by this angle control? So angle control, basically it is the angle between your normals of adjacent triangles. Okay, so now you can understand from the diagram here he has shown in picture. Let's see how this angle control, right? So the amount of tessellation will indicate the measurement of accuracy of the particular component or object. Okay, so when you decrease this tolerance, okay, so what happens, print resolution will be high, or you can say it will get improved. Okay, so now the next one is step size, my dear friends. Step size means if you decrease the size of the triangles, what is going to happen, the number of triangles will be high or more in such cases, right? So because of more in number of triangles, you are going to get good surface finish, as well as see what no accuracy of the component will be high. Okay, so even it will take more material, and even it will take more time to build the component also. Okay, so now these are the three parameters. See, the major parameter which is there in STL conversion is chord height, my dear friends. Okay, chord height, if it is more, okay, the number of triangles will be less in a particular object. Okay, and the accuracy will be decreases like anything. Okay, so this is what the meaning of chord height. You can understand from the diagram, right? So see, beside one more diagram is there, right? So where it represents a number of triangles, fine mesh, very fine mesh, and what no normal, or you can say average mesh kind of thing, right? So what you need to do is, out of these three, you need to go with a fine mesh. If it is very fine, the build time will be more, or you can say what no fully accurate component you will get. Okay, if it is a like normal fine, what no average fine kind of thing, so in such cases build time may decreases, but the thing is you will get very less accuracy when compared to others. So you need to go with optimum one. So that is what your fine mesh is needed. Okay, don't go for fine, very fine, or you can say very what no poor mesh kind of thing. Okay, so if it is coarse one, it is not good. So while conversion of STL, you can observe such kind of things. Okay, in software part. Okay, when you go with software part, you can understand how this STL conversion will be done, right? So my dear friends, if at all if you have any error with STL file, what you need to do is using some certain software. Okay, so we need to go with the error correction. Okay, so you need to upload the STL file which is having error, and do some apply some comments or do some necessary steps, and then you will get a original one, or you can say modified one. That file you need to go for next step. Okay, so this is what. So the errors occurred in STL file might be missing of faces, overlay lapping of faces. Okay, bad edges you may get it. Okay, so you may get intersection of triangles and all. So these are the few errors you are going to encounter in case of your STL file conversion. See, there are some what no file. This STL file can be stored in two different ways. One is ASCII and binary, and binary is like most recommended one in case of 3D printing manufacturing process. Okay, so like see, this is what the basic step. First one I told you, CAD modeling. By using any 3D modeling software, you design and then go for conversion of STL. Okay, in that software only you need to convert that STL file. Okay, so it will ask binary or ASCII. Put a option called binary and then go for changing the parameters called chord height, angle control, step size and all. Okay, so if you give less chord height, that means the distance between two, that means the distance between CAD model and your STL model will get decreases. That means number of triangles will increases. Okay, for a given object or components. So start changing of the parameters and then go for STL file conversion. So this is what the basics first and two steps involved in your 3D printing, right? Then what you need to do is you need to do go like once you generated STL file. Okay, so the file you need to upload it into your slicing software. Okay, so here this slicing software which is connected to your printer settings, my dear friends. Okay, whatever you are changing, whatever you are giving as input, and you are going to obtain the same thing in in the form of output kind of thing. See, these are the things I am going just interlinking with the plastic technology or polymer based technology. Okay, so most commonly used technology is FDM, that is a fused deposition technology. It is completely polymer based, or you can say plastic based technology. So whatever the things I'm telling, it is completely connected to plastic technology. You just understand with the basic step, or you can say basic knowledge, so that you can apply the same concept for other technologies also. Okay, so this is one of the technology which comes under material extrusion. Okay, so it is completely solid based system. So you understand here what are the steps involved in your 3D printing and all. Okay, now if you take the next one, so what we are doing, you are uploading the file into slicing software. Okay, in slicing software what you need to do is you need to give what is the layer height you want to with what layer height you want to print the component. Okay, similarly what you need to do is you give support structure which type you want. Okay, fill density, what is the fill density you need to give. Okay, so similarly flow of the material, always flow of the material should be 100%, then only proper printing will be there. Okay, so there are some certain parameters called print speed, travel speed. Okay, so similarly what is the diameter of the filament and what is the melting temperature of the material and all you need to provide as an input, my dear friends. So once what you have done, you have uploaded STL file in slicing software. It will show like this, and you changed all the input parameters, and then it will show what is the time taken to print this component. Okay, and how much material it will get consumed. Okay, while printing. So it will show. Okay, so once you got a file like this, see on build platform whichever orientation is needed. Okay, so if you want to keep it in center of the platform, that is also okay. Away from the platform, center of the platform, that is also okay. Okay, wherever you want you can keep the component, but the most recommended one is you keep it in center of the build platform, my dear friends. Okay, if you want to keep the thing in if you want to rotate the component in XYZ direction, you can do it, no problem, but you need to go with the optimum condition. So if you tilt it if you tilted that object, what is going to happen? You are going to get overhang kind of thing. So in such cases, support structures are required. Okay. Again, we need more material to print the component as well as to generate the support structure. Okay. So once printing is done, what we will do? We will remove the support structure, right? So in such cases, okay, aesthetic point of view, you may lose it, right? So that means surface finish may get affected, right? So to avoid such kind of things and all, what you need to do is you need to go with the optimum conditions. Okay, so you need to select a proper one. Right, right. So next one, see, for flat objects, okay, if you don't have overhangs, you don't require any support structures, my dear friends. Okay, in this case support structure is not required, but in this case support structures are required. Okay, this what no inclined portion is there, okay, curved portion is there. In such cases you are getting overhangs. Okay, so this is what the what no needed of support structures and all. Right. See, in support structures also we have flat and tree support structures. Okay. So most recommended one, you give a tree support structures only. Why? Because very less material will get consumed, and it is very easy to remove from the model material or printed object. Okay. So surface finish may not get affected with the tree support structure. Whereas with flat and all, so what happens? So surface, you will get surface roughness more, and again we need to go for post processing method. Okay, so this is what the generation of support structure. See, whatever I'm just relating the things, see, this is completely plastic based technology, my dear friends. Okay, so the things will the process physics will be different for different technologies. Okay, so why? Because like you're at starting level, I'm just correlating the things with the plastic based technology. Okay, so this is what the support structure generation. Okay, now what I mean to tell you is infill density. Okay, you provide honeycomb structures. Okay, if you provide 0%, this is how it looks like. If you provide 30%, that is how it looks like. If it is 70, okay, so how much material it will get consumed, and if you provide 100%, you are going to get full solid model. Okay, so this is what the basic concept of infill density. Okay, so if you increase the infill density, okay, so the amount of material is required to print the component will be high. Okay, this is directly proportional, right? If you decrease, the less material will consumed. If it is increases, it will get increases, right? So this is what the meaning of infill density, right? So for example, now, what do you mean by travel speed and print speed? Print speed is like, see, at what speed you are printing the component. Like see, most recommended one is 80 per second. Okay, you need to give. Okay, so what do you mean by travel part? Travel speed? Travel speed is, for example, you this center one is there, right? This is what our hole. Okay, so start like pinching of the next layer was completed here. Okay, if it has to come to first point. Okay, so it without any printing, the tool has to travel or move from that point to this this portion, right? So in such cases, tool travel speed is needed. Okay, so that also needed, we should give optimum one. Okay, so without any printing, tool has to move okay, that center point to printed portion. So in that case, travel speed will come into picture. Printing speed is like with what speed the printing process is happening. That is what the meaning of printing speed. Okay, so these are the various parameters will be involved in conversion of your STL to G code. Okay, so now see, what are the parameters I told you? Layer height will be there, shell thickness, fill density, support structure, print speed, Okay, travel speed, what is the printing temperature, what is the melting temperature of the material, diameter of the filament. Okay, so such kind of things are there, right. So now, for example, if you provide layer height, see, let us say 0.1. Okay, for 10 mm of height of the product, if you provide 0.1 mm layer height, so what is going to be happen? You are going to achieve 100 layers, right? So 100 layers will be like this. See, I'm just showing you an example here in the form of layers. They have printed or formed object, right? So this is how it looks like. Now, see, this is what the next step called a G-code conversion. See, you uploaded STL file in slicing software and you obtained, okay, you have given input parameters, whatever we require, okay, and the file at the end, what is going to happen? If you click on OK, it will start generating the G code. Okay, so the G code which you have got, okay, you need to upload that G code into machine or 3D printer. Okay, so when you switch on the 3D printer, okay, when you upload this G code, it will show you how much time it will take and how much material it will consume to print the object. See, whatever the information I'm giving it for your plastic 3D printer. Okay, so the things will be different in case of other technologies. You understand time being as a basic, or you can say as a fresher, you can understand the things for plastic technology. Okay, so this is how the G code. See, whatever the G code information you have in case of CNC, the same thing will be there. Okay, so if you like whatever the G code which is like there on a desktop, if you click on with notepad, you can get like this. Okay, for each and every layer, this G code will be written. Okay, or you can say this G code movement will be written for each and every layer, my dear friends. Okay, so if the layer height is 0.1, if your if your layer, total height of the object is 10 mm, okay, if you want to print that much height, you are going to obtain 100 layers, right? For 100 layers, this G code information will be there. Okay, so G0, G1, whatever you are using normally, the same thing will be there. Okay, so from here you can understand, if it is G1, X100, Y100, Z100, E10, that means the nozzle will move 100 mm on X, 100 mm on Y, 100 mm on Z, while extruding 10 mm of plastic. That means this is what your layer height, my dear friends. Okay, so see, these are the few codes which we are going use which we are using in 3D printing. So like see, these are the few support structures. Okay, so you like if the support structures are like strong, okay, we'll go for some certain tools. We need to remove those support structures with those tools. Okay, if you didn't get good surface finish, we need to go with what no uh, so post processing method. Okay, so this is what the basic process chain. I'll show you, I'll give a brief idea about this process chain. So what I told you, first one, CAD modeling. Yes, second one is STL conversion. If you have any error, you will do STL correction by using some certain software. I'll go for Magix one. Okay, Magix is the software where you can design. You can reduce the errors of your STL file and all. Okay, so once it is done, okay, so STL file will be uploaded into slicing software. Okay, so after all giving inputs, you are going to get it. You're going to get a G code. That G code you need to give it to machine. Okay, so if when you provide that G code to the machine, it starts printing. Okay, once the printing of the component is over, then removal of the object will taken place. Okay, so if you didn't get good surface finish, we'll go for post processing. Okay, so once the post processing is done, we'll go for application purpose. Okay, so next thing is, there are some certain post processing methods, my dear friends. Okay, sand blasting is there, tumbling is there, vapor smoothing is there, right? So for in most of the cases for plastic pots, we'll go for sand blasting. Okay, by using emery paper. Okay, whatever the emery paper is there with different grades of roughness, you just do go for surface finishing, and then you are going to get your good surface finished object, right? So this is what the thing is there in post processing, right? Now I'll show you one video, you can understand very easily. Okay, so this is what the process physics are involved in your 3D printing, my dear friends. Okay, so the video which I am playing here now, it deals with process physics. Now you will understand what is there on the process physics. Okay, so now see, please be don't get bored. Okay, so I'm going to give good information now. Okay, so you can understand very easily what is there on the 3D printing process chain. Okay, what is there on the slide, please understand. I hope voice is clear, right? Are you getting voice?
Yes, sir. Like I just given a general idea about 3D printing process. Okay, it is one kind of metal-based technology. Okay. So you please understand. So now I am going to play one more video, which is like completely plastic-based technology. Okay, you can understand how the process physics involves in this particular 3D like FDM technology. That is what plastic-based technology. Okay, so you just understand what is there on the video, just understand. This is what our FDM technology, it is one kind of plastic based.
Fused deposition modeling, or FDM, is a layer additive manufacturing process that uses production-grade thermoplastic materials to produce both prototype and end-use parts. This technology is known to accurately produce feature details and has an excellent strength-to-weight ratio. FDM is ideal for concept models, functional prototypes, manufacturing aids, and low-volume end-use parts. The FDM process begins by slicing 3D CAD data into layers. The data is then transferred to a machine, which constructs the part layer by layer upon a build platform. Thin thread-like spools of thermoplastic and support material are used to create each cross of the part. Similar to a hot melt glue gun, uncoiled material is slowly extruded through dual heated nozzles. The extrusion nozzles precisely lay down both support and thermoplastic material upon the preceding layers. The extrusion nozzle continues to move in a horizontal XY plane while the build platform moves down, building the part layer by layer. The finished part is removed from the build platform and cleaned of its support material. Raw FDM parts have visible layer lines. However, service providers such as Solid Concepts offer multiple finishing options to create smooth, even surface parts including hand sanding, assembly, and cosmetic paint. Since FDM parts are constructed with production-grade thermoplastics, including ABS, polycarbonate, and Ultem, they are both functional and durable. FDM is utilized in a number of industries, including aerospace, automotive, industrial, commercial, and medical.
What he has done, he has definitely, right? So you can understand how this this technology that is called FDM technology, like for a given component he has used, right? So now whatever the information I given, like it is completely software based kind of thing, right? Now if you take a classification, this is what the classification, it doesn't require. Okay, so first and foremost one is material extrusion. I just want to give you. Okay, so this is one kind of what now a solid based technology. Okay, so completely polymer based technology. Okay, so whatever the information I given, it relates with your like see, this is what our material extrusion process, that is what our FDM, right? Fused deposition modeling. See, this is what you are going to use it in your the lab, right? So the rest of the part process I don't want to discuss. Okay, I'll show you how it is. Okay, so I'll go for next technology, next topic called issues. Okay, reverse engineering and all. So before going to that, what is the process physics involved in your FDM technology? Okay, so future deposition modeling, like first of all, what you are doing, loading of the material you are doing, liquefaction of the material. That means by giving some heat and all, the start heating of the filament will be there. Okay, so next thing, application of pressure to move the material through nozzle. Okay, so the material will get extruded. Okay, so in according to what now input what we have given in the software, it will start going to print the component, right? So in a controlled manner. Yeah, what now next thing is like bonding of the material, or you can say bonding of the layers will start occurs place. Okay, and you're going to obtain a solid structure. Okay, and finally what you have done, you are removing the support structures, right? Like if you didn't get a good surface finish, what you are going for? Like you are going for like post processing method, right? See, there are some certain methods we are going to use it in plastics and all. See, one is sand blasting. Okay, by using emery paper and all, we can go for post processing. Even see in this video, what he has done, he has he has dipped that component in chemical or you can say chemical solution, right? So because of that also, if you keep it for 5 to 6 hours, you are going to get good surface finish. Okay, whatever the extra burrs are there, extra or you can say materials or particles are there, okay, flaws are there, they'll get removed, okay, from the model material. Okay, so in that video you can observe clearly he has used two nozzles. Okay, one is for support generation and the second one is for model material, right? So in some cases, if you use only one extruder or one nozzle, okay, so whenever we require supports also, we can generate from the particular nozzle and we can print the component or we can get the model, right? So what happens with my dual extruder or you can say with multiple extruders, what is going to happen? You can go for different varieties of materials and all. Okay, so this is what our process physics involved in plastic based technology, that is what our FDM, okay, fused deposition molding. Okay, so this is what you guys are going to install in your lab, right? So rest of the things are not required. Okay, so these are the different parts which are fabricated by FDM technology. Okay, so that is what our surgical ear, okay, heart, okay, jaw, mandible, cranium, these are the things which are printed by our 3D printing process. Okay, so these are the rest of the classification which is not required for you. I'm just showing the images, you understand. Okay, so if you guys required, I will tell you. See, this material jetting is basically used for multiple materials and colored objects. If you want to print the components, or if you want to print the components in different colors, you will go for material jetting. Okay, so this is what the basic concept involved in material jetting. Okay, and binder jetting is there. These are the few parts which are produced by binder jetting, which is in metal. Okay, and powder bed or you can say powder based technology. So these are the complex parts which are produced by metal powder, and these are the last and see, this is what our directed metal deposition. Okay, so with the help of coaxial nozzles, we are producing the component. Okay, so the powder will get deposit with the coaxial nozzle system and all. Okay, it doesn't require for you guys, just understand this is how the process physics involved in this technology. Sheet lamination, right? So now future of 3D printing, they are trying for whatever the plastic materials are there, they are going for in the form of pellets. Okay, so far like they have a powder based, okay, whatever the metal powder is there, whatever the ceramic powder is there, or you can say whatever the polymer powder is there, they are like they have done in powder form. Okay, spools, that means a filament kind of thing. Now they are doing research on pellets also. Okay, so they want to extend this particular 3D printing for aerospace application. Okay, so multiple materials, okay, hollow structures they want to go for. Okay, so far like we have very few materials. Okay, that means material usage is also very less. Okay, so very few metals are there using polymers also, or you can say plastics, okay, ceramics and all. So now they are working on composites and functional graded materials. Okay, so lattice structures, these are the issues or obstacles which are involved in 3D printing. Okay, so this is what the basic concept of your thing, right? So one more thing, according to ASTM standard, I just want to tell you, according to ASTM standard, we have 7 additive manufacturing process. Okay, these 7 will comes under solid based, liquid based, powder based. Solid based material extrusion and sheet lamination will come. Okay, so material extrusion, what I told you, fused deposition modeling will comes under this category. That is what solid based, or you can say material extrusion. Okay, so under the category of liquid based, we will get wax photopolymerization and material jetting. Under the category of powder based, we will get binder jetting, powder bed fusion, direct energy deposition. See, all these videos I will share it to your friends. Okay, that means whoever organizing this webinar. Okay, so each and every process video I will show you. Okay, if you want, like right now I can play, but already time 1.5 hour is crossing, so I don't want to waste your time. Please watch those videos. Okay, so it might useful for you. You can understand very easily. I played one technology called plastic based, that is what fused deposition technology. Okay, so where you guys are going to use it in your lab. That is why I just concentrated on that hardware part only. Okay, so I don't want to go for other technologies. Okay, so this is what is your classification. Now, so what is the final concept in C? These are this is what your hardware. Okay, so different components of your plastic 3D printer, my dear friends. Print bed, filament, extruder. Okay, so heater will be there, nozzle will be there. Okay, similarly cooling fan will be there, motors. Okay, and motion in XYZ. Okay, so lead screw will be there, belts, stepper motors. So these are the different parts of your 3D printer, right? So it deals with mechanical, electronics, and software integration part. Okay, so all the combination of these three systems will give you your hardware of your 3D printer, my dear friends. Okay, all the mechanical components will be there. Okay, electronic system will be there. Similarly, computer integrated system also will be there. Computer part also will be there. Okay, that G code conversion and all it will come under our what no software, or you can say programming kind of thing. Okay, so these are the few materials which are like in plastic based technology we are going to use. Okay, now so these are the different desktop 3D printers. Okay, so low end machines. Okay, so now the final concept in this presentation is reverse engineering. So what I want to tell you is reverse engineering allows us to easily and quickly reproduce an object for which we do not have 3D model. So wherever we have complexity, and if it is not possible with 3D CAD modeling, then we'll go for what no reverse engineering concept. Okay, so see, especially this reverse engineering concept is used in your bioprinting, my dear friends. Okay, so what is the difference between normal one and the reverse engineering one? Here, what you are doing, you are simply designing a model in 3D CAD modeling software, then STL conversion, okay, G code conversion, and then we are going for printing, right? Here, instead of designing, we'll have real object what we need to print. Okay, so we will scan it. Okay, whatever the data we are getting. Okay, that point cloud data we are going to obtain. So what we will do in that scanner settings only, we will change and we will get 3D model kind of thing. So then and there itself only STL conversion will be there. Okay, and we'll go for the what now next step called G code conversion. We will upload that STL file into slicing software. Okay, so see for my what now biomedical applications and all, we have Mimix is the software. So in such cases we will use, and rest of this steps will be done in that Mimix software. Okay, whatever the biomedical applications are there. Okay, so whatever the components are there, whatever we have scanned, we need to upload that into Mimix software, and we need to do some set. Then we'll next step called STL file and G code conversion. So this is what the basic thing which is there in case of reverse engineering. Okay, so nothing is there. Scanning is replacing by your 3D CAD modeling. Okay, so this is what I want to tell you guys. Okay, so if you have any doubts, you can ask.